Last week, we got a new trailer and a release date, actually, for the upcoming A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. What's the byline? The Hedge Knight. It's a very long, very convoluted, a Game of Thrones story is thrown in there somewhere. But yes, I'm actually quite looking forward to this, even though it's going to be 3 hours of content stretched across 6 episodes. I really hope that it's good. Okay, because here's the thing, man. Like, you can say some of these stories, especially the track record that Game of Thrones stories on HBO kind of go off the rails the longer that they go on. One thing that you can't say so far is that those first seasons aren't bangers. House of the Dragon, amazing. For me, it might be my favorite. I'm thinking about at this point in time running back a Game of Thrones rewatch, but yeah, it's not really gnawing at me too hard. But we'll see, though. We'll see, because 2026 really is shaping up to be quite a year of A Song of Ice and Fire content. Well, at least on the screen, but we'll get to that in due time. But yes, as for the trailer, the prequel follows Sir Duncan the Tall and his Squire Egg set 100 years in the past. And I guess, are they trying to keep who Egg is as as a reveal? Because here's the thing, it's kind of like House of the Dragon. You don't quite know how they're eventually going to get there, but unlike Game of Thrones proper, there is an end point. There is a point in time where it has to link up with the grander timeline. So yeah, we technically, even though there's still 2 additional novellas to be published in this little ongoing story, stop me if you've heard this before, George still has to write two books to finish the story, but there is a finite point where this story ends. And so it really doesn't much matter that the books aren't complete quite yet. We had a very different telling of the story that would be adapted for House of the Dragon for season 1 and for season 2. There's still some good stuff in season 2 after all. And well, that ended up getting adapted quite well, even though it is just simply a history told from the perspective of 3 different independent narrators. But the thing, if you watch the trailer for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, I won't play it because Warner Brothers is really bad when it comes to copyright claims, but we can do just, a couple of still frames, and honestly, you take a look at where a vast majority of the story is going to be taking place. I would imagine, at least from episodes, depending on how quickly they want to go through things, I would say probably from episodes 2 all the way through till 6 is probably going to be taking place at the tourney grounds, because that's where that entire first book basically takes place, outside of, obviously just a little bit of backstory for Dunk. And I could see that taking up the first episode, and then him, showing up at the tournament, getting his motivation for competing in the tournament. But yeah, that'll probably be good. And honestly, you watch the trailer and it's a very different tone from what you normally get in Game of Thrones. It doesn't seem so nihilistic, it doesn't seem so bleak, but yeah, man, the production design, the costuming, I mean, it looks like a really high quality affair that simultaneously looks really grounded, but also has some more of those quintessentially George R.R. Martin fantasy flares, which, yeah, you've got these stylized helmets that were so very much lacking in Game of Thrones, and you got to see a little bit of it in House of the Dragon. But there's a lot of cool helms that are out there. Like, if they ever get around to a Robert's Rebellion story, like, I want to see Rhaegar Targaryen's big fucking dragon helmet, and then also the big fucking horns that Robert's supposed to have on his, with his big old warhammer. Like, I want to see all of that stuff, because that's cool, okay? It's not character, well, it is kind of character work, but it's much more superfluous than, just real plotting and writing and good dialogue and shit like that. But yeah, if you can couple all of that stuff together, it's like a multiplier. So yeah, if the show's good and they have great costume design and great set design, I would consider that to be a great success. But apparently, this isn't going to be the only A Song in Ice and Fire show to come out next year, because we just got word, and I think the news broke Monday, could have been Monday, that House of the Dragon season 3 just finished filming. They just wrapped officially, and they're going to try to get it out in that tried and tested late summer, early fall slot. Like, what? You really think you can turn that around? And I know a little bit about the story and how effects heavy that shit's going to be, and it's, oh boy, I don't know what's going to happen, but okay. But we did already know that the Game of Thrones spin-offs, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms and House of the Dragon Season 3 would arrive in 2026. We know that because I was thinking it was going to be a little bit longer for House of the Dragon. But now we have more concrete details on when we'll be heading back to Westeros, and the time between the visits could be surprisingly short. Yes, as Deadline reports, HBO and HBO Max head Casey Bloys offered some morsels of George R.R. Martin fans as part of an interview celebrating the outlet's many Emmy wins. According to the trade rather, House of the Dragon's return is possibly in June. What? Based on Bloys' estimate, that I think it'll be just outside of Emmy eligibility window for 2026, so the window closes on May 31st. And yeah, given, well, season 1 and season 2, I think season 2 was a little bit earlier. I think it started, what was it, late July? But season 1, well, because both seasons ended up overlapping Rings of Power, which is just hilarious. I just wonder if Amazon is just going to try to, hustle along production, because they're still filming at this point in time. Rings of Power season 3 we're talking here. And I think they're slated to go through the end of the year. So I think they're just, by simple virtue of this, probably aiming for late 2026. So it would be funny, right? So they just wait for Amazon to make the move, and then Warner Brothers comes out and goes, oh yeah, right, late 2026 for House of the Dragon season 3, lol. But yes, with the trailer for Night of the Seven Kingdoms, we could just go back to this one because, yeah, you got the official release date. I'm pretty sure it's on the end of this. Yeah, January 18th. January 18th is when it is coming out. It even says it right there in the tweet with the trailer itself. So yeah, that's tremendous stuff. We got concrete release dates on something that is coming out of Westeros. Unlike certain other things that were recently discussed at certain panels, because George is talking books again, okay, New York Comic Con, and well, same old, right? George R.R. Martin addresses controversy over Winds of Winter delays. I love these other things too. Yeah, that's cool, man. Like talking to a kid that's like, why aren't you eating your broccoli? Well, I really like the meat and I like the desserts. Like, oh, just stop already, George. We know you're not going to finish them. At the start of his panel, the conversation with a Game of Thrones author, George R.R. Martin, at New York Comic Con, moderator and fellow novelist Joe Hill made a joke that everyone in the audience instantly understood. It's best to begin with a question I'm sure most of the people in this room want answered. I know everyone is hoping that you can tell us, can the Giants keep winning? Lol, we got it. That is obviously not the question everyone wants answered. It's more like, when will the goddamn Winds of Winter? Well, when the hell is the goddamn series going to wrap up? Because you remember, Winds of Winter isn't the final book in the series. It is supposed to conclude with A Dream of Spring, which is never going to come out. Let's keep it a buck. Martin's, yes, long-awaited continuation of A Song of Ice and Fire book series finally be a goddamn finished. Yeah, it won't be. Long story short. But while Martin didn't provide any updates on that front in New York Comic Con, a big shock, right? The scribe did address what he called the controversy surrounding its delay. Oh, that you're fat and lazy and you don't want to finish the books. You can't finish the books. You don't have the skill required to finish the books because you've just let them become these big, sprawling, epic adventures that you're not quite comfortable properly concluding due to your own stupid boomer sensibilities. Is that the problem? I know that there's all this controversy about Winds of Winter and how late it is, but I've always had trouble with deadlines, and I don't feel happy breaching contracts or missing a deadline or anything like that. Wow, just how flippant you can say that. Oh, I don't feel happy missing deadlines, but it happens. Later on in the conversation, after Martin explained his process, I hate doing outlines, he circled back on the topic. He pointed out how the success of Game of Thrones universe led networks and studios now to buy up the screen rights of all of his past works that he may have considered commercial failures back in the day. Every time that happens and I announce it on my website, half the internet goes crazy. Why the fuck is George writing this other thing when he should be writing Winds of Winter? And then people start to realize that, oh, yeah, you're just getting like a producer credit. Oh, you just have an opportunity to pop into the writer's room. You're not really writing anything. And yeah, in some of the early seasons of Game of Thrones, you were writing screenplays for certain episodes. But for House of the Dragon, you were pretty happy with how Ryan Condal and Paddy Constantine fleshed out the character of Viserys Targaryen better than you even did. Your words, not mine. I tend to agree. But what did you do for season 2? Well, I was really excited about the Hedge Knight, and then he just wanted to throw stones at the production that HBO ended up fucking up with season 2, but I digress. But yes, back to why, oh yeah, you should be writing Winds of Winter, or what is he doing? And I want to say, I did it in 1993, guys, come on. It was lying in my drawer and they wanted it, so I sold it to them. Okay. Martin doesn't have kids, yeah, but likened his work, including Wild Cards and AMC drama Dark Winds, which he executive produces. Yeah, again, you don't do anything on it. Your name's attached to it because they're adapting your work to children that he loves equally. Yes, I do love Winds of Winter. I'm still interested in it. The fact, well, let's go with a relevant meme in this one. Any man who says that they are still interested in something is not really interested in it. I'm still working on it, but obviously I love these other things too. That's a shitty analogy to children. It's like, yeah, I love raising all of my kids. I just focus on raising the younger ones. Like, wait, what? Yeah, but to date, Martin has published 5 books for A Song of Ice and Fire, A Game of Thrones back in 1996, A Clash of Kings in 1998, A Storm of Swords in 2000. Okay, that's pretty good, every 2 years. And then you have, 5 years for A Feast of Crows, and 6 years for A Dance with Dragons. And then after that, you have, But I love all of these projects. Don't worry, guys. I've been totally working on it. I'm not going to provide any updates on it. I'm just going to simply say I'm excited for the next thing that I get to attach my name to and rake in a bunch of royalties over. But yes, even with all of that said, I mean, I am looking forward to A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I am looking forward to Season 3 of House of the Dragon. Hopefully it can redeem some of the failings of Season 2 by properly killing off Massaria. The fucking cancer she is on the show. Giving Rhaenyra her comeuppance, and then delivering on some of the promise that was teased throughout all of Season 2. But yeah, man, 2026 is going to be very strange for Song of Ice and Fire fans. You're going to be getting a lot, but you're ultimately going back to another food analogy, because we all know George loves his food analogies. You're getting a tremendous dessert and a wonderful appetizer. It's just, where the fuck is the main course? So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.